Every news story has a path not taken. This is what would have happened. On May 6, 2026, France moved its aircraft carrier, Charles de Gaulle, through the Suez Canal into the Red Sea. Trump paused Project Freedom after just one day. A 51-nation coalition led by France and the UK has been planning a Hormuz mission for weeks, but the US went in alone. What would have happened if the UK-France coalition had joined Project Freedom from the very start? Why the US went alone? Both sides have a point. The US said 23,000 sailors from 87 countries were stranded with no end in sight. At least 10 sailors had already died from the blockade. The coalition required waiting for a ceasefire, which was too slow for the crisis at hand. And every day of delay drove gas prices higher and cost lives. France and the UK said a unilateral US military operation risked escalating the conflict into a broader war. A strictly defensive multinational mission had more legitimacy with Iran in the world. The coalition was deliberately kept separate from the US so Iran could not frame the mission as an extension of the war, and deploying before a ceasefire would have undermined the credibility that gave the coalition its standing with Iran. Here are a few scenarios of what would have happened if the UK-France coalition joined Project Freedom from the start. Legitimacy. A 51-nation coalition backing the mission may have given Iran even less room to resist without losing China and Russia's support, but the coalition required a ceasefire. First, joining early meant abandoning the one condition that gave the mission legitimacy with Iran. Iran's response. Iran framed Project Freedom as a ceasefire violation. A multinational defensive mission would have been much harder for Iran to justify attacking without losing neutral allies. But Iran had already warned that any foreign force in Hormuz would be targeted regardless of who sent those forces. Deal momentum. A 51-nation coalition joining Project Freedom may have amplified pressure on Iran and accelerated deal momentum even further. But the coalition's strictly defensive no-pressure mandate may have given Iran less urgency to negotiate quickly. Oil markets. A unified global signal from 51 nations may have driven Brent below $100 faster, but coalition decision-making is slower and markets may have waited longer for a concrete signal than they did with Project Freedom's bold single-day move. Every decision has another path. Which path would you have chosen? Drop your thoughts in the comments below.
For informational purposes only. Scenarios are speculative analysis, not fact.